Welcome to this deep dive.
Yeah, today we're looking at just one source, really digging into it.
That's right. It's an article presented as audio, actually, called How Many Humans Have These 8 Reptilian Traits by Greg Prescott.
And it's linked to the vindasoon.com channel.
So our mission is pretty straightforward. Just unpack the specific claims this source makes.
Exactly, about these potential, reptilian traits in humans. We're just trying to understand what this one article puts forward.
Not necessarily endorsing it, just laying out its arguments.
Precisely. So let's get into it. The source starts with a pretty provocative idea from Sumerian legend.
Right. It talks about the Anunnaki.
Yeah, and suggests they genetically manipulated early human DNA, maybe even interbred.
Creating different versions of humans and introducing what the source calls reptilian blood or influence.
And it claims there are signs of this, markers, still in our genetics today.
Okay, like what specifically?
Well, two main things it highlights. First, it claims only 20 of our 64 DNA codons are active, the building blocks for proteins.
And it references another article by the same author about changing DNA.
It does. And second, it points to our 46 chromosomes versus 48 in other primates.
Ah, the chromosome count difference.
Yeah, and specifically that our first two chromosomes look fused. The source suggests this could be a sign of, tampering.
And it mentions someone named Sean David Morton.
Right, in connection to the chromosomes and what the source calls galactic races. So it's setting up this whole backstory.
Okay, so building on that foundation, ancient manipulation, potential reptilian genes, the article then lists 8 specific traits.
Exactly. 8 traits it alleges are reptilian and might show up in humans because of this history.
Gotcha.
But it does add an important note up front.
Oh.
It says having these traits doesn't automatically make someone, bad.
Okay, that's good to clarify.
It claims there are good and bad individuals in all the races it describes. These are just potential characteristics it associates with that lineage.
All right. Fascinating setup from the source. Let's dive into these 8 traits just as the article presents them.
Okay, trait number 1. It's something called the reptilian brain. The source claims we all have this part.
The brainstem, basically.
Pretty much. And its main job, according to this source, is the fight or flight response, often driven by fear.
And the article connects this to media.
Yeah, it claims mainstream media specifically targets this part of the brain. Those talking propaganda heads, it says.
Huh. So the personality link is
that someone relying heavily on this brain might seem very paranoid or skeptical, trusting that fear response most.
Okay. Moving on to physical things. Trait 2. Lower than average body temperatures.
Right. To give an example, like 96.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
And the reasoning is?
Just that reptiles are cold-blooded, so maybe reptilians are too.
Yeah.
Direct comparison.
Makes sense within that logic. So someone with this trait might prefer, warmer rooms.
Or maybe need fewer blankets, that kind of thing. That's the suggestion.
Got it. Trait 3 is kind of related. Lower than average blood pressure.
Yeah, the source notes that reptiles generally have lower blood pressure than most mammals.
So it just extends that idea, suggesting maybe reptilians do too?
Exactly. It's presented as a possibility based on the reptile comparison.
Okay. Trait 4 is anatomical, an extra vertebra.
The article says some people are just born with one.
Any other names for it?
It mentions transitional vertebra or sometimes just a coda.
A coda, like a tail. Interesting. Okay, trait 5 gets into senses, hypersensitivity to light.
Right. Use the example of a leopard gecko, hiding during the day, active at night.
Because of the light sensitivity?
Yeah. So the article draws a parallel. Someone with this trait would likely prefer being a night owl, avoiding bright daylight.
Makes sense as a comparison. All right, trait 6. This one sounds like a big one in the article. RH blood type, specifically RH negative.
Oh yeah, this gets a lot of focus. The article claims about 5% of the world has RH negative blood.
Okay, 5%.
And it gives it this whole origin story.
Yeah.
Introduced to Earth maybe 25,000 to 35,000 years ago. In Europe, it claims.
Introduced, wow. And it gets even more specific, doesn't it?
It really does.
Huh.
It mentions someone called Daphne and claims reptilians are tracking RH negative people, even back through time.
Tracking them, okay. And it links these RH negative hybrids, as it calls them, to a specific place.
The Draco Caverns in the Carpathian Mountains. Very specific lore there.
And it describes them physically.
Yeah, mostly red hair with green eyes or black-haired with brown eyes. That's the description given.
And what was their goal, according to the source?
It claims they tried to infiltrate The blonde, brown-haired with blue eyes civilization?
So the article is very clear. It sees Rh negatives as hybrids.
Explicitly. Part reptilian, part human. That's the definition within this source's narrative.
And it makes some pretty serious claims about reproduction, too.
Definitely. It says if two Rh negatives try to have a baby, it usually dies or is born a blue baby.
Why blue?
Because the source claims it's not processing oxygen right. And if they survive, they're called blue bloods.
Wow. Okay. And it gives statistics for this?
Yeah, repeats the 5% global figure, but claims it's 15% in England and the USA.
15%? That's quite a jump.
It is. And there's one more detail on reproduction it adds, attributed to Aver Hill.
What's that?
It claims if an Rh negative mother has a baby with an Rh positive father,
Okay.
the baby will be a blue baby because the mother's negative antibodies attack the baby's positive ones.
Right, the Rh incompatibility issue.
Yes, but the source adds a twist. It claims this usually only happens with the second baby because the antibodies don't mix properly until the first birth.
Huh. That's a lot of very specific claims packed into the Rh negative trait.
It really is. It seems quite central to the source's argument.
Okay, moving on. Trait 7 is behavioral. Lack of empathy.
Yeah, and it starts with an animal example.
Yeah.
Some reptiles kill and eat their own young.
Grim. And the source suggests
The reptilians might do similar things, and then it makes a big leap.
Yeah.
It connects this alleged lack of empathy to claims of numerous abductions, which it says people have linked to secret societies in the Roman Catholic Church.
Okay. Again, we have to stress these are claims from the source we're reporting on.
Absolutely. We're not validating, just stating what the article alleges. Its basic point is that reptilians lack compassion and are just focused on survival any way possible.
Understood. Okay, finally, trait 8. This one feels, well, familiar from the lore. The ability to shapeshift.
Right. The source called this a well-known trait of the
I
reptilian.
think you have examples.
It mentions Arizona Wilder and makes claims about a shape-shifting queen of England. It points to videos for these.
Again, specific examples cited in the article.
Exactly. And it does reference those videos by Sean David Morton and Arizona Wilder again, suggesting people check the links in the original article if they want to pursue those specific claims.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap those 8 traits as presented in this source.
Sure. 1, the reptilian brain linked to fear and media.
2, lower body temperature.
3, lower blood pressure.
4, the possibility of an extra vertebra, a coda.
5, hypersensitivity to light, leading to being nocturnal.
6, the whole complex set of claims around Rh negative blood origins, tracking, hybrids, reproduction issues.
7, a lack of empathy, which the source controversially links to abductions and institutions.
And 8, the alleged ability to shapeshift.
Those are the 8 points this specific article lays out as potential human reptilian traits.
So we've really just walked through the claims from this one source today.
Yeah, we looked at its foundation in Sumerian legend, the Anunnaki stuff, the genetic points it makes about DNA and chromosomes.
And then went through each of those 8 characteristics it identifies.
Our aim was really just to present what the source itself says, clearly and directly, giving you an overview of its specific points.
Right. And if you are interested in digging deeper into this particular source's perspective,
The article itself suggests, visiting their website, thehindasoon.com, or their Facebook page.
which is facebook.com/the vent is coming soon.
Right, and searching their video library or subscribing. That's what the source itself recommends for more info.
So just thinking about what we've unpacked, these ideas from the source about ancient genetic changes, hidden traits, how they might influence us, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Like, what does it make you ponder about where human differences come from? Or, the sometimes surprising ways people try to connect biology with behavior. Just something to think about.